I'll tell you what, Dub Nation, in that first round series against the Denver Nuggets that lasted 5 games, the Warriors looked really, really dominant. I'm really pumped up about this basketball team moving on to the second round of the NBA playoffs. They will take on the winner of the Minnesota Timberwolves as well as the Memphis Grizzlies. If you're pumped up like I am about this overall basketball squad, how they're trending, how they're playing, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If you're a Warriors fan, all of you should hit that thumbs up icon. Dub Nation, you're watching Golden State Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr., and the Golden State Warriors are officially second round bound in the NBA playoffs. They come back to the Chase Center in San Francisco for Game 5 after the Nuggets really perform well in Game 4 in the Mile High City, and they're able to dust off, complete the series victory by a final score of 102-98. We'll do a little bit of a preview looking forward into that second round, but first, overall takeaways from this entire first round playoff series as well as this Game 5 matchup. Final score, as I talked about, 102-98. And Nikola Jokic was absolutely phenomenal. He continues to prove himself to be one of the best basketball players all around, guys, that we've seen in modern NBA history. 30 points, 19 rebounds, and 8 assists. But at the end of the day, the Denver Nuggets simply did not have the horses of the Golden State Warriors. This is a team that's clicking. This is a team that has continuity and camaraderie. They are playing a seamless, fun, entertaining, and free-flowing style of basketball, and that's a big reason why they are considered favorites to win the Western Conference and the overall NBA championship. Before we continue to talk all things Warriors, I want to hear from all of you watching in the comment section. We have people tuned in from all across the United States, all across the world, including the Philippines. Are you thinking about the Warriors as the best team in the Western Conference? Do you envision them being the number one team in the West moving forward? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no in the comment section. Overall takeaways from the Dubs. It's feeling more and more like the vintage Warriors are back. The crowd, the hype, the momentum changes that we see take place at the Chase Center, the suffocating defense, the back-breaking baskets from Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Jordan Poole. And it's really fascinating that after a couple of down years, Steph, Klay, Draymond, they still have it. It is shown in this playoff series, and that's why the Warriors figure to be one of the best teams in the West. And that's why I asked for your feedback down in the comment section. These guys still have a sliver left in their respective primes, especially Steph Curry. Comes back into the starting lineup for the first time in the playoffs, and he doesn't miss a beat, folks. Thought he was fantastic. The game-winning layup was classic old-school Steph Curry. That threat off the dribble where he displays some patience. He's able to buy time off the dribble, beat his defender, get past, I think, Jokic down there, lay it up with the left hand. That ended up being the dagger for the Warriors against the Nuggets. On the night, 30 points, 5 dimes, 10 of 22 from the field, 5 of 11 from deep. And this Warriors offense now has really a trifecta of guys who can explode offensively night in, night out. That's why the Warriors are scary. In Curry, in Poole, in Klay Thompson as well. As for Jordan Poole, want to talk about him before we get to Gary Payton, so stay tuned for my thoughts on Gary Payton. Jordan Poole, he did stay in the starting lineup. It was a starting lineup of Steph, Poole, Klay, Wiggins, and Draymond. But then Steve Kerr quickly pivoted off that starting 5 early in the game because Poole was struggling a little bit. I'm curious to see if that starting 5 remains or if Jordan Poole goes to the bench to be the spark plug on that bench unit, and Kevon Looney returns to the starting 5 to give the Warriors a little bit more size at that center position because they can certainly be taken advantage of defensively on that end of the floor. Either way, Poole's development, scoring pop, he's made the Warriors an even more dangerous basketball team. Let's talk about Gary Payton II now. With his pops in the stands, the glove, Gary Payton Sr., Gary Payton II was absolutely phenomenal in helping to close this game out. He was an impact player on the defensive side of the floor, and he had arguably his best offensive game of the season. He was a part of the closing 5 for the Warriors that Steve Kerr put on the floor to close this playoff series out. Tells you everything you need to know about Gary Payton II and his growth that we've seen over time. 15 points, 6 of 8 shooting, 3 of 4 from deep, a couple of those threes coming in critical moments throughout the game, especially in that fourth quarter, and he obviously got it done defensively too with 2 steals and a block. As for Draymond Green, let's talk about his offensive impact and what he was able to do against the Joker throughout this playoff series. Draymond Green is so valuable as the glue guy for this Warriors team, setting things up offensively with his passing from the top of the circle, but also his screens around the three-point arc to free up some of the shooters on this team. And then his ability to really dissect things on some of those backdoor cuts, whether it's him cutting to the hoop or him finding somebody cutting to the hoop. And I thought he did some really good things against the Joker. But when it comes down to Nikola Jokic, he's probably going to win a second consecutive MVP. He didn't have the firepower around him. The Nuggets would be a much more interesting and dangerous team if they had Michael Porter Jr. as well as Jamal Murray. But what can you say about the Joker? Draymond Green even said it. He said this guy is so great in a variety of ways. And to get that type of compliment from Draymond Green really is telling, because we know Draymond Green, if he smells blood in the water, he's attacking anybody who's soft out there. The Joker, he ain't soft. Draymond, as for what he did in that Game 5 against Denver, I thought he was really impactful too. 11 points, 6 assists, 3 blocks, 1 steal. His defensive, really, ability was special for the Warriors last night. Couple more takeaways to get to. Great signs from Klay throughout this playoff series. He looks to be back at least offensively. He's been very, very efficient on the offensive end of the floor. Defensively, still has some strides to make and some room to make up, coming off a couple of those really severe injuries, okay? But Klay Thompson, offensively, signs of life. Again, this is a big reason why the Warriors continue to be dangerous as we progress in these NBA playoffs. Let's do a little Warriors and I guess let's say either Timberwolves or Grizzlies preview. That's what the playoff series is going to be next, because on the other side of the Western Conference playoff bracket, it is going to be the Phoenix Suns against the Dallas Mavericks as the Mavs finished off Utah, and for the first time in a decade, they're moving on to the second round. Last time they did that, they won the NBA championship against the Miami Heat when Dirk Nowitzki was absolutely phenomenal. We'll get to that playoff series right around the corner, but first, if you're an NFL fan watching Warriors today, first of all, greatly appreciate you. Hopefully you subscribe to Golden State Warriors today, but again, if you like the NFL, even better for us, because I cover the NFL here at Chat Sports, and I will be a part of our rounds 2 and 3 live NFL draft coverage on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel as we go live 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific tonight as we record this on Friday night. If you're watching us on Saturday, we'll be live for rounds 4 through 7 of the 2022 NFL Draft. Night 1, 300,000 people joined us on YouTube trying to take over and pass up that number, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Make sure you subscribe and join us. Okay, just a couple of quick things that I want to get to on this next series against either the Grizzlies or against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So moving forward to the second round, a few weeks ago, if you would have asked me this, I probably would have said that I like the Grizzlies over the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors weren't playing good basketball. They were a little bit clunky offensively. But with what I've seen from the Grizzlies in the first round and or the Timberwolves and what I've seen from the Warriors in the first round, I'm reversing course. I do like the Warriors to be victorious and make it to the Western Conference Finals. The Warriors are just playing that style of basketball that we came to grow and love and accustomed to watching during that dynastic run. They've returned back, whereas Memphis and Minnesota, I don't think their time is now. They're a little bit too young, a little bit too inexperienced. I'm picking the Warriors, no matter the opponent, to make it to the Western Conference playoffs. The Grizz, they've shown some flaws against Minnesota. They can be picked apart in some areas of the game. And for Minnesota, they're just a little bit too young. So Memphis, Minnesota, a little bit too young and inexperienced going up against the Warriors organization, not just roster and coaching staff that is so experienced when it comes to this point of the NBA playoffs. Before we get out of here, I want to get your predictions for this playoff series. If the Warriors take on Minnesota, if they take on Memphis, are they advancing to the Western Conference Finals? Type W for win, L for loss. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video. Thank you so much for watching today's show. Cannot wait to continue to talk Warriors basketball. We'll be doing some watch parties for the second round.